Hey guys, Cage Cloud here with another WWE predictions video. So this time we're for NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3 and SummerSlam, which is coming up this weekend. So we're going to start off with NXT Takeover Brooklyn because that comes first. So the first match is Johnny Gargano versus Andrade Almas. I think Johnny Gargano wins. Um, Almas is basically the jobber right now of NXT, so I don't see any way he wins. I think Almas is going up to the main roster soon. I hope. I think he's kind of gotten to that level, so I hope he does go up there. Um, Next match is Aleister Black versus Hideo Itami. I think Aleister Black wins. I could see this going either way. Actually, the rest of these matches I could see going either way. But I do think that Aleister Black will come out with the win because I think he needs that kind of push. I don't know if Itami has much of a future in NXT or WWE for that matter because of his injuries. It's just kind of, he's a great wrestler, but he kind of lost that big push. I think he needs to move to the main roster because I think that'll give another kind of push behind him that he kind of needs. Then we have Authors of Pain versus Sanity for the NXT Tag Team Championships. I think Sanity wins. I believe I predicted this in the WrestleMania predictions video and NXT TakeOver. I can't remember what it was then. Where was WrestleMania this year? I don't know. What? Who cares? Anywho, I can't remember. It's Orlando. NXT TakeOver Orlando. There we go. Yeah. So I think Sanity takes that. I think we got Bobby Roode versus Drew McIntyre for the NXT Championship, and I think Drew McIntyre actually wins. I think Bobby Roode needs that kind of competition. So I think that Drew McIntyre wins the championship, and I think Bobby Roode probably will get it back at the next NXT Takeover. But still, it gives him someone on his level to compete with. And now I think the match to finish off the night. And we don't know what order these matches are going to be in, but I think this will be the last match. Is Asuka versus Ember Moon, and for the NXT Women's Championship, and I think it'll be the last match because I think Ember Moon wins. And yes, that means all the championships will be changing hands at this NXT Takeover Brooklyn. But I think it's also important to remember that this has kind of been NXT's WrestleMania now, and NXT has seemed stale for a while. We've had the same three champions for quite some time, at least 6 months. And I think that this is how they're going to change things up. They're going to have all the championships change in one night, and it's going to be like whoa, that came out of nowhere. NXT is, big, huge now. Look at all the competition that we have in NXT. I think that's the entire point. Next, we have SummerSlam. Now, on the kickoff show, they're having Neville versus Akira Tozawa because, cruiserweights can't be on the main show. And I think Akira Tozawa wins. I think this is pushing down to kind of Neville breaking. So I think Neville will get the championship back. I think this is a 3-match series. And I do think that he ends up getting the championship back at the next matchup, but not this one. Because I think they need to push the fact that Akira Tozawa is kind of on the Neville level. Wink. That's stupid. Next, got the Usos versus the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I think that the New Day win. This could go either way. This is the one match that I'm least certain about on the show. But I think the New Day still wins. I think for the most part, SummerSlam is mostly going to be the faces winning. That's generally the case with like the big four. I just think that's the way that they're going to go. So next we got John Cena versus Baron Corbin. Now Baron Corbin, I think, was always slated to lose this match, and then he lost the briefcase, and it made me wonder: is Baron Corbin going to win this match? But hearing how Vince has kind of soured on Corbin, I'm not entirely sure why. I know that the fans don't really like Corbin that much, so that's probably part of it. But I actually think Corbin is pretty good. He's good at what he does. He's a high school bully. That's his entire character, and he plays that character perfectly to to the point that it pisses off all the fans. I actually think he's a good heel in that sense. But regardless, Vince doesn't like him, so I think John Cena is going over him. Rusev versus Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton's got to win. I mean, if Randy Orton loses this, then the question becomes, why is he even wrestling anymore in the WWE? Like, what's the point? So, Randy Orton's got to win this, even though I don't want to see Rusev take the loss, but that's kind of the way I see that going. Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. They kind of ruined the build-up to this. It should have been better. Although, Monday night, they did actually kind of have Bray Wyatt do something that fit his character when he dumped a bucket of blood that seemingly came out of hell. It wasn't blood. They called it some sort of acidic liquid because they couldn't actually call it blood, I guess, on WWE television anymore. And they poured it on, and he poured it on Finn Balor. I think that was perfect. I like that. Bray Wyatt needs to be doing more of that, less of the projector insects. I like the projector insects, but more of this and less of that. I think this is good for his character, but I still think Finn wins because whenever he brings up the Demon King, he needs to win. At least for like the first couple of years with WWE. At least until he builds up that character enough. Because if he loses as a Demon King now, it's only been the second time we've seen the Demon King. If he loses as the Demon King, what's the point of the Demon King? There's no point. So he has to win this match. Big Cass versus Big Show. I think Big Cass wins. Big Show doesn't have a future anymore, really. I mean, we all know he's retiring, so this might be his last big match. I kind of hope not, but it may very well be, so Big Cass has got to go over him. Ambrose and Rollins versus Sheamus and Cesaro for the Raw Tag Team Championships. I think Ambrose and Rollins go over. Sheamus and Cesaro kind of been feeling stale. They need people to contend with. And Rollins and Ambrose, they're kind of building up to this, I think, an Ambrose heel turn, which is perfect for Ambrose. And it gives Rollins at least something to do. So yeah, I'm cool with that. I think that's good. Then we got Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles for the United States Championship with guest referee Shane McMahon. Because of the guest referee, before I thought Kevin Owens was going to win this, but because of the guest referee, I think it's got to be AJ Styles. Because if Shane McMahon screws AJ Styles out of the championship, like, where they going to have the two of them wrestle again? No, that's dumb. Like, don't have Shane wrestle anyone more than once, ever, for the rest of Shane's time with the WWE. That's just kind of my opinion on that. Like, they could do it on Survivor Series or something, it'd be stupid. So I think they're building up to a Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon match, probably at WrestleMania. So in that sense, AJ Styles has got to win this. Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. Again, I think Alexa Bliss has been feeling kind of stale. I think you got to let Sasha Banks take it. You got to give something to that whole scenario. Maybe then you have Nia Jax beat Sasha Banks for the championship, in which case then Alexa Bliss is kind of... She's still got to pretend to be Nia's friend, even though she really wants the championship. So I think that might be where they're going with that. Natalya versus Naomi for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I think Naomi wins, but I think you might see a cash-in. I didn't think you were going to see a cash-in now, because I thought you were going to see a cash-in from Corbin at the show. But that hasn't happened, so you'll probably see Carmella cash in at the end of this match. I hope she keeps the Glow title, even though it doesn't, like, you know, it's not like her character's thing. It'd be great for her character to have something stolen as her title. I think that's perfect. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal for the WWE Championship. Now, I originally thought Shinsuke was going to win this, but two things have changed that. They both involve Vince's opinions, and it's that, you know, the dirt sheet kind of says that Vince has soured on Baron Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura. I thought for certain that Nakamura was going to win it and Corbin was going to cash in. Corbin's already cashed in. I think that they're kind of done with their Corbin heel push, or main event heel push, which I think is silly because he'd be better than Jinder Mahal. in basically every way. So I don't know why they're done with this push. They should keep pushing it along, but I think Vince doesn't like him that much anymore. And I think the same goes for Shinsuke after that kind of botched suplex to John Cena. And as a result, maybe Shinsuke gets another match against Jinder, but I think he loses this one. Then the Fatal 4-Way. Probably going to be the best match of the show, even though some people, I can see the argument that, like, Fatal 4-Ways kind of ruin storylines a bit, but because it's good to have that 1v1 kind of storyline in WWE, but I don't always agree with that, and I think this is the perfect combination of 4 storylines into one, especially with how Paul Heyman has been adamant that Samoa Joe will get nowhere near the title. Like, Paul Heyman went from just treating Samoa Joe as nothing to yelling at him and saying that he is nothing, which means that he's something, right? So I think, because of all that, and because of the fact that it's too soon for Roman Reigns, and Braun Strowman is just... If Braun Strowman wins it, Braun Strowman's got to keep it for, at least until WrestleMania. I don't think that's very interesting. As a result, I think Samoa Joe wins. I just don't see anyone beats Braun Strowman. I think it's too soon for Roman Reigns to win it again, because I think what they're building to is probably a WrestleMania match now between Strowman and Reigns, which originally was supposed to be Reigns and Lesnar, but Lesnar's probably leaving WWE for a bit, so with that in mind, given all of that stuff, all the kind of background stuff going on, and all their story arcs and all that kind of thing, I think Samoa Joe wins this. I think Reigns or Lesnar takes the pin. I'm thinking Reigns. Maybe, like, Lesnar hits, like, a suplex or an F5, and then, Joe comes in and puts the Coquina clutch or something and, takes out... did I say Lesnar take the F5? Whatever. But regardless, Joe's winning. This might be my last WWE predictions video for a bit. I'm kind of... And you could probably tell a little bit in the way that I talk about some of these storylines and how they're becoming stale. I think in general the WWE's kind of become a bit stale. I still watch it on occasion. I'm just not as interested in it as I used to be, and I need to be that level of interested in order to do these predictions. I need to be kind of, the upper echelon of interest. Given that I'm not, I might do like the big 4, but I don't think I'll do the predictions video each pay-per-view. Especially because a lot of those pay-per-views have been kind of shit, to be honest. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the WWE has a problem. The problem is Vince McMahon. He's petty, and he just seems to be, like, intentionally screwing with good storylines because of his feelings about the wrestlers, which I don't think was always the case with Vince. I think it happened on occasion, and then I think he kind of became... Like, he adopted that Vince McMahon character for the WWE, like, to have a main villain, right? Back in the 90s and the 2000s. And I think that he's become that character, and I think that's kind of ruining WWE. I think he needs to back out, basically, completely, and just let Stephanie, Shane, and Paul run the show. So, until that happens, I don't think WWE's got a very bright future. I mean, it doesn't really have any main competition in the United States, but still, I just don't see it expanding and growing very much. At least until Vince is gone. But anywho, I would say Vince doesn't have positive things, I should say. Vince does have some positive traits. He is a great showman, but regardless, I just don't. I'm just not feeling it with WWE right now. Given all of that, this is my predictions video. I will see you all later, and peace.